Most people look at their fatigue. I started residency. I was old enough to start residency before the residency rules went into effect, when they figured out that working 37 hours straight was not good for patient care. So my experience was working 110 hours in a week. There are only 168 hours in a week. I went a month without a day off. I worked 37 hours without sleeping. I was exhausted. I had 2 kids during that time period as well, and that didn't get me any extra sleep. I remember at one point calculating my sleep deficit and realizing it was going to take years for me to catch up. I remember finishing shifts and having to have someone come pick me up because I was too tired to drive home. I was completely impaired. And I remember getting really cranky and really tired and falling asleep wherever I was, just like one of my children. On the couch, in the car, as a passenger, on a blanket in the park. I was like a toddler that needed a nap, and I could not control it. I fell asleep, and my naps ended up being 2 or 3 hours. So fast forwarding to now, I work as a doctor, I single parent 5 kids, I run my own business, I write, I do other stuff. You'd think I would be tired, and I'm not. Don't get me wrong, I sleep, and I occasionally take a nap. But I am like lit up and on fire, and living my life and excited about life. And it is extraordinarily rare that I would feel energetically drained or feel that weight of fatigue anymore. Most people look at their fatigue and they come at it from the body perspective. They're looking at it from the perspective of the circle. They've gone to the doctor, they've had their thyroid tested, they've checked to see if they're anemic, they've had their vitamin D level tested, they've been checked for allergies. And chances are all of those things are normal, and they've left without anything. And what I've found is that it is really as simple as looking at the square or the triangle. If you've exhausted all of the options on the circle, the answer is on the square or the triangle, the mind or the spirit. The square is the mind, and the mind plays a really important role. It's powerful. It's able to think and plan, and it comes up with incredible processes and decision-making algorithms for us. But it also can be a huge energy drain. So often we can get caught up in the sort of monkey mind or the mental chatter of the mind. You know, think of an important decision. You're deciding if you want to take a new job, and your mind can make an exhaustive pro and con list. You know, taking the new job versus keeping the old job, and you go back and forth on the one hand, but on the other hand, it's so much, right? It's too much. The mind can convince you that each decision is equally sound, and yet they're opposite decisions. So how does the ego and the mind reconcile its need to make the correct decision? It tries to analyze more and more and more, and we end up exhausted. And so the triangle is spirit. Spirit is our authentic self. Spirit is where we're connected to the truth of who we are. And frequently we are disconnected from our spirit. In fact, most people really are very disconnected. They're caught up in the limiting beliefs of the mind, the I am alone, the I am invisible, the I'm not good enough. These kind of things that were imprinted at a young age and aren't true, but the mind holds them to be true and has created evidence to believe that they're true. And so the spirit can experience an extreme source of conflict, fighting ourselves when it wants to bring something forth and there's a limiting belief that's holding you back. So I get it. You're tired. And here's what I suggest you do. First, pay attention to the body. Take care of the needs of the body. Get enough sleep, nutrition, get enough exercise. Then take a look at the mind and examine the belief systems that it holds. To take it even further, I would encourage you to really ground down into your body. The mind has done so much hard work for you. Give it some well-deserved time off, just here and there, once in a while. really ground down into your body to access that quiet space that already exists in the mind, that's free of that mental chatter. And for the spirit, my encouragement would be to align, to really align and understand your yearnings and your desires and what you're here to bring forward, and find a way to wrap that in and integrate that with the rest of yourself so that you're no longer disconnected. Reconnect, reach out, start a meditation practice, take up yoga, find a way to connect to yourself and really release yourself from fatigue.